LPBW. Caryn reveals Matt's shocking esophagus issues after hospitalization. Dear loves, welcome to USA Drama. Please do subscribe my YouTube channel. LPBW star Matt Roloff has talked about his hospitalization on social media ahead of season 25's premiere. He shared a picture of him lying on a hospital bed. The celeb appeared in a pathetic condition and raised concern among his viewers. However, the latter is now getting a chance to have a closer look at Matt's medical emergency. Fans were in shock when they recently saw Caryn making some surprising revelations about Matt's esophagus issues. This came after his traumatic hospitalization. What did she reveal? Is Matt fine? LPBW. Caryn comes clear about Matt's esophagus issues to him. LPBW star Matt Roloff has been facing issues regarding his esophagus for years. He initially used to manage all the phlegm that used to come out and bubble up like a volcano. But this time, the celeb wasn't able to escape and ended up landing on a hospital bed. Caryn was also in shock and feared for her fiance's life. She then had a talk with the doctors and learned some shocking details about Matt's medical condition. Caryn then tried to explain to Matt what exactly was happening with him. She revealed that the latter has an esophagus of an average size. The celeb's fiance was in shock, and they wondered how that was possible. Caryn discussed the sequence of the diaphragm, esophagus, and stomach. However, in Matt's case, he has an esophagus longer than his body can handle. That is why his body ended up pushing his esophagus to another side. Caryn explained how everything was stuffed into his body, while Matt also joked about his condition. In an exclusive clip by Pop Culture, the latter said, "I went all good and came out all bad." However, tried to calm him down and pointed out that at least now they know the reason behind Matt's scary medical condition. LPBW. Matt says his medical condition was really traumatic. LPBW star Matt Roloff initially revealed on Instagram that he had a rough week. Things didn't go as per his plan when he went for his routine endoscopy. He even admitted to the cameras, "My esophagus has been acting up here and there." Matt explained how his esophagus ends up getting mad quickly, and it appears to be sort of closed off at times. He admitted that when all the phlegm comes out like a volcano, it becomes really traumatic. Matt was also in shock and wondered what was wrong with him. Even Caryn also appeared to be scared when she confessed. That was kind of traumatic. She recalled the entire incident and narrated how the doctor called her and said that there was a complication and expressed their concern that they may have perforated his esophagus. Caryn admitted that she was getting a weird vibe. She explained how the entire situation was more of an emotional experience for her. Though Matt doesn't remember a lot because he was on medication, he was well aware of the chaos and panic that everyone in the room was undergoing. However, now he appears to be in a much better state and is doing well. Little People, Big World. Tori Roloff is on the run. Tori Roloff from Little People, Big World is on the run. She is putting her strength and endurance to the test. But will she be ready for the big day? Little People, Big World. Tori Roloff signs up for half marathon. Tori Roloff is a busy mom of 3. She is always running around taking care of others. However, it has been almost 2 years since she gave birth to her 3rd child, and she is finally feeling more like herself and ready to put her health first. The Little People, Big World cast member reveals she signed up for a half marathon. It is something new for her, so she is hoping she will be able to make it to the end of the run. However, Tori has been doing a lot of training lately. The TLC star explains that she has been running pretty consistently for the last month and a half. She is trying to work out more and move her body. She is also trying to be more consistent in her health, but that means she has been feeling very sore a lot. Tori trains for Big Run. Tori has been doing a lot of reading on postpartum. She explains that a woman's body takes around 2 years to fully heal after giving birth, and she believes it. After almost 2 years postpartum, she finally feels good and ready. She also feels healed and capable of doing more things. So the Little People, Big World castmate has been running and is becoming more active in preparing for this half marathon. Tori also admits that she signed up for the half marathon on a whim. So she is hoping to make it to the end. Will she be able to make it across the finish line, or will it be too difficult for her to complete? Little People, Big World celeb gets support from Zach Roloff. Tori Roloff brought up the idea of running a half marathon to a friend of hers who is no stranger to running marathons. Her friend has been hyping her up and giving her words of encouragement. Her friend tells her that she can totally do a half marathon. However, she knows she will have to wait to see if she makes it across the finish line. Yet the Little People, Big World reality star has also been getting a lot of encouragement from her husband, Zach Roloff. He tells her that when she accomplishes her goal, it is going to be way cool. He knows what it's like to accomplish something physically challenging. A few years back, he competed in a weightlifting competition. Zach is proud of his wife. He knows that when Tori finishes the half marathon, she will feel good about herself. But will he join her on the run or cheer her on from the sideline? Will Little People, Big World return for season 26 without Zach, what we know so far? They're one of reality TV's most beloved families, but the roll-offs of Little People, Big World have been through a rocky road lately. As TLC's hit series awaits a decision on season 26, the clan has weathered bombshell relationship twists, terrifying health scares, and explosive disputes over the fate of their iconic roll-off farms. From Matt's surprise proposal to girlfriend-turned-fiancée Caryn that left her in tears, to son Zach's life-threatening shunt malfunction requiring emergency brain surgery, to ongoing tensions with Amy and her new boo over running the farm, this tight-knit but complicated crew has faced more drama than ever before. Here's everything we know about the potential season 26 of Little People, Big World, including whether Zach's departure will spell the end of the series. Will there be a Little People, Big World season 26? TLC has not officially announced if Little People, Big World will be renewed for season 26 yet. However, the long-running reality series remains one of TLC's highest-rated shows, so a renewal seems likely unless the Roloff family decides to end the show, which could happen, given Zach's recent announcement that he doesn't plan to return. More on that below. Season 25, which is still airing, continues to chronicle the daily lives of the Roloff family as they navigate relationships, businesses, and major life events. Key storylines have included Amy planning a big charity fundraiser on Roloff Farms, tensions between her and Matt's girlfriend, Caryn, over planning styles, and Matt's surprise proposal to Caryn in Arizona. The season 25 finale of Little People, Big World will air on TLC on April 23, 2024 at 9 p.m. ET. TLC has not made any casting announcements regarding season 26. The 25th season includes parents Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff, and their respective partners, Caryn Chandler, Matt's fiancé, and Chris Merrick, Amy's husband, plus Zach, his wife Tori, and their 3 kids. The other adult Roloff children, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob, have all parted with the show over the years. But Zach and Tori Roloff made a shocking announcement in February 2024 to say that they would not be returning to the show after its latest season. The couple shared the big reveal on Thursday, February 21, in an episode of their podcast Raising Heights. "We are not returning to the series," Zach, 33, shared. "We made that pretty clear the last cycle." But the duo then explained that they hadn't officially announced their departure to fans. Tori, 31, clarified further, "We're not coming back to Little People, Big World. Like, we're done. That part of our lives, that chapter, has closed." Zach agreed, reiterating, "I think the chapter has closed regardless of us being asked back. We've made it pretty clear we're done with that chapter for multiple reasons." Is Zach leaving Little People, Big World? If he holds true to his word, yes. He and wife Tori made the announcement on their podcast in late February. If he holds true to his word, yes. He and wife Tori made the announcement on their podcast in late February. "It was no longer a project that we really believed in, and so the last year was hard," Tori said. "It was hard to show up every day for it. It was tough, it was unfortunate. Because you had such a run there," Zach, who started on the show when he was around 13 years old, added. Elsewhere in the conversation, Tori asked her husband of 9 years if he ever regretted having his life filmed when he was a kid. Looking back on his younger years, he said, "There were episodes that I regret, and there's things I've said that I regret, but that overall he would do it again." Where does the Roloff family live? The Roloffs reside in Oregon, with the family's famous Roloff Farms located in Hillsboro, about 15 miles west of Portland. Why did Amy and Matt get divorced on Little People, Big World? After 27 years of marriage, Amy and Matt Roloff divorced in 2016. They cited having drifted apart and grown apart over time as the reasons for their split. Are Matt and Caryn still together on Little People, Big World? Yes, Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler are still together and in fact are engaged. On a season 25 episode of Little People, Big World, Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler share the exciting news with friends. Matt proposed to Caryn during their trip to Arizona a few days prior. Caryn was caught completely off guard by the unexpected proposal, admitting she had no idea it was coming. Matt had secretly planned it by getting Caryn's parents and close friends involved without giving her any hints. Caryn tearfully recalls Matt saying he wants to grow old with her before she said yes to his marriage proposal. Did Caryn work for Matt and Amy? Caryn Chandler was previously an employee at Roloff Farms before she began dating Matt Roloff following his divorce from Amy. Matt and Amy were married for 27 years before breaking up in 2015. Amy previously spoke with Us Weekly, saying she and Caryn are cordial and respectful to each other. "We can be in each other's company," Amy shared. "We can enjoy that time. I wouldn't say we're going to be best friends or anything." Caryn Chandler is still on the show, but she may have decided to leave it at one point due to the ongoing family drama involving her fiancé Matt Roloff and his sons Zach and Jeremy. A source told The Sun that Caryn doesn't want to be caught in the middle of disagreements and conflicts related to the future of Roloff Farms. During season 24, tensions rose when Matt put part of the farm up for sale despite Zach and Jeremy's interest in buying it themselves. While fans speculate that Caryn quit because of the drama, neither she nor the network has officially announced her departure from the show. What happened to Zach Roloff? Zach Roloff faced a terrifying health crisis in February 2023. The 33-year-old star of Little People, Big World was rushed to the hospital after waking up with a painful migraine that progressively worsened. The source of Roloff's pain was a faulty shunt in his brain. A shunt is a surgically implanted device used to drain excess fluid from the brain down to the stomach to be reabsorbed by the body. Doctors discovered that Roloff's shunt had developed two breaks, leaving him in a precarious situation his wife Tori describes as sitting on a knife's edge without realizing it. Emergency surgery was required to replace the broken shunt. While successful, the shunt replacement was a wake-up call. Zach admits any headache now is triggering after coming so close to a life-threatening crisis. What is the release date for Little People? Big World Season 26. TLC has not announced a release date for Season 26 of Little People, Big World yet, as the show has not officially been renewed. Previous seasons of Little People, Big World are available to stream on Discovery+. New episodes of the currently airing Season 25 can be watched live on TLC or streamed the next day on. LPBW's Zach Roloff engages in serious conversation with Sam Jackson, 6 about dwarfism. "You know it's coming. It's not a conversation I was prepared to have," the father of 3 said during the episode. During this week's episode of Little People, Big World, the father of 3 shared that he has been talking more with his older son Jackson, 6 about living with dwarfism. While roasting marshmallows around the fire pit, Zach told wife Tori that Jackson recently asked him why his friend couldn't play triple at baseball. Zach recounted their conversation with Tori, sharing that he told Jackson his friend couldn't play because he was not a dwarf. "I'm a dwarf. What does that mean?" Zach recalled Jackson asking him, noting that he had to address the topic with his son earlier than expected. He was kinda just confused. He was like, "Why aren't other people dwarfs?" And I said, "That's because of how God made you and this and that," Zach said. He kinda laughed. He almost thought I was name-calling him later in a confessional. Zach shared more about his feelings regarding talking to Jackson about dwarfism. He said, "It's not a conversation I was prepared to have, but families have dwarfism. Those moments come up that you then have to talk about. You know it's coming, you know the questions are gonna come and the curiosity about themselves, but I don't have it planned out in my head. It's just kind of however my kids bring it up. I don't think it's going to be a conversation. I think it's going to be more like moments," the dad of 3 continued. In last week's episode, the couple shared a health update on their 4-year-old daughter Layla, who was diagnosed with a moderate form of sleep apnea. According to the couple, sleep tests are recommended for people with dwarfism to ensure their sleep isn't obstructed. Layla's test came back, and she has a moderate form of sleep apnea, Zach said in a confessional, as Tori added. "She's probably going to need her tonsils taken out, and then supposedly after that, the apnea goes away." An update on Little People, Big World star Matt Roloff's health. Matt Roloff suffers from a different type of dwarfism than ex-wife Amy and son Zach, creating different health challenges for him. TLC's Little People's Big World follows Matt, Amy, and their son, Zach Roloff, who were all born with dwarfism. Due to their limited stature, they faced various medical issues less common in people of average height. The family has navigated numerous health challenges over the years, but now that Matt and Amy are getting older and are both in their 60s, they're starting to run into issues more frequently. During a Season 25 episode of Little People, Big World, Matt had a health scare after a routine upper endoscopy went awry, and there were concerns he had esophageal damage. So, what exactly happened to Matt, and how is he doing today? Plus, we take a look into Matt's medical history, which included several corrective surgeries throughout his lifetime, and how his dwarfism differs from the type his ex-wife and son have. What happened with Matt Roloff's esophagus. In May 2023, Matt visited the doctor for a routine endoscopy after experiencing a sensation of his esophagus closing off and producing a significant amount of phlegm. In response to these symptoms, Matt underwent a routine upper endoscopy, a procedure that uses a thin, camera-equipped tube to examine the upper digestive system. This particular incident was shown in an episode of Season 25 of Little People, Big World. But just a few minutes into the procedure, doctors alerted Matt's fiancée, Caryn that there had been a complication. She was told that they were afraid they had perforated the wall of Matt's esophagus. They quickly ran some tests to check his esophagus and confirmed that it hadn't been punctured. However, doctors came to an unexpected realization. Matt's esophagus was too large for his body. Despite Matt's small stature, doctors discovered he has a normal-sized esophagus. This unexpected size difference caused the esophagus to become kinked. In a confessional, Caryn explained to Matt, "So the doctor said yours is longer than your body can handle, so it's pushed to the side." Poor little esophagus all crammed in there and kinked over. Additionally, doctors identified that Matt had significant acid reflux damage. Matt explained that the doctors did stretch his esophagus out to alleviate the closed-off feeling he was having, which was a plus. However, this seemed to only be a temporary solution. Fortunately, Matt appeared to bounce back quickly from this health scare involving his esophagus, revealing on Instagram at the time that he only took a few days off from work. However, he did note that more work needed to be done on him medically. Although he didn't clarify what that entailed, Matt appears to be in good health and has since recovered following this scary hiccup. But it's unclear if he's still struggling with health problems behind the scenes. Matt Roloff had 15 corrective surgeries during his childhood, but still can't walk without crutches. Amy and Zach suffer from the most common type of dwarfism, achondroplasia. According to Boston Children's Hospital, people born with achondroplasia have short arms and legs, an enlarged head, and an average-sized trunk. Meanwhile, Matt suffers from a type of dwarfism called diastrophic dysplasia, which is much more rare. It affects the normal development of cartilage and bone, often contributing to shortened limbs and mobility problems. Because of Matt's type of dwarfism, he needed many operations as a child on his limbs. In 2018, he revealed that he had 15 surgeries during his childhood on an episode of the podcast Reality Life with Kate Casey. "I had a rough childhood. Not from a family perspective, but just from orthopedic surgery, spending long periods, sometimes months in a hospital with very limited access to your parents," Matt revealed, noting he spent over 700 days in the hospital as a result. "It was just the way they did it back in those days and going through some very painful operations. So I do think all of that sort of built up a muscle of resiliency and gave me a sense of can-do and tenacity." But despite all of the various corrective surgeries that Matt had in his formative years, he still can't stand up straight or walk without the help of his crutches. Given today's advancements in technology, someone born today with Matt's type of dwarfism likely wouldn't need an extensive amount of operations like that. That said, the high number speaks to how vastly different diastrophic dysplasia is from other types of dwarfism. As for Matt's family history, his parents Ron and Peggy and sister Ruth are of average stature. However, his younger brother, Sam, has the same form of dwarfism as him. Matt also had another brother named Josh, who was born with a severe heart and lung defect. At the time, doctors weren't even sure if he would make it out of the hospital alive. Fortunately, he did, but Josh's medical challenges ultimately led to his early death at age 34 in 1999. Watch Little People, Big World on TLC. LPBW's Matt Roloff and Caryn recall his traumatic hospitalization. "I remember everyone being panicked. I feel like I went in all good and came out all bad," the 62-year-old said after his health scare. Matt Roloff and his fiancée, Caryn, are reflecting on his recent traumatic health during Tuesday's episode of Little People, Big World. The 62-year-old is home recovering after being hospitalized for problems with his esophagus. "My esophagus has been acting up here and there. It's been happening for a couple years. What happens is, it seems like it's sort of closed off at times. Not every meal, but not really sure what brings it on," he explained in a confessional. "The esophagus gets mad very quickly and generates phlegm. It just bubbles up like a volcano until it comes out. It's shocking. It's very, very dramatic." doctors recommended Roloff undergo a routine upper endoscopy to figure out the problem. According to the Mayo Clinic, an upper endoscopy is a procedure used to visually examine your upper digestive system using a tiny camera on the end of a long, flexible tube. It's typically done to diagnose and sometimes treat conditions that affect the upper part of the digestive system. However, Roloff said the routine procedure didn't go as planned. That was kind of traumatic, Chandler said as Roloff admitted he doesn't remember much because of the medication. Well, they had told me several hours because you got sedated and they were going to do the test. And then I walked downstairs to get coffee and my cell phone rang. They were like, "He's out, you can come back," she recalled. The doctor came in and he said there's been a complication. "We are concerned that we may have perforated his esophagus," Roloff added. "I remember everyone being panicked. There was panic in the room." Chandler said she got a weird vibe from the doctors and asked what happens next. They then performed a test on Roloff in order to determine if they perforated the esophagus wall. "They did the test and you drank the stuff, and as you drank it I could see that it didn't show a perforation," she said. "But I could tell the doctor thought that could have happened." Chandler admitted that it was more of an emotional experience than a physical one after realizing Roloff would be okay. Doctors also said Roloff has a lot of damage from acid reflux and that he has a normal-sized esophagus rather than the average size for a little person. "I feel like I went in all good and came out all bad," Roloff said as he dealt with a stomachache at home. LPBW preview: Matt Roloff shares scary medical condition. Little People Big World cast member Matt Roloff receives some scary medical news regarding a condition he has in TLC spoilers. So, what do teasers reveal about Matt's scary medical situation? Little People Big World. Medical conditions are a part of life for little people. An unfortunate fact of life for little people everywhere is that they regularly deal with numerous medical conditions. Just on TLC alone, viewers have seen this in Little People Big World scenes. Zach Roloff had to go in for brain surgery to get his shunt replaced. Even Jackson Roloff has had to go under the knife at a very young age. Achondroplasia is far more complicated than most people realize, and there are numerous medical conditions that come to light, including many that most people may not even think of in their everyday lives. Matt Roloff reveals scary medical condition in LPBW scenes. Spoilers for upcoming Little People Big World Season 25 scenes show Matt Roloff in a bad way. The Roloff family patriarch is resting on the couch under a blanket and looking worse for wear. According to Matt, he got some bad news from his doctor. Despite Matt Roloff's smaller stature, he does not have a little person esophagus, as Caryn Chandler puts it in Little People Big World spoilers. Matt's esophagus is longer than his body can handle. So, anatomically speaking, it's pushed off to the side and in a weird spot compared to the anatomy of an average-sized man. Matt Roloff went in for what he thought was going to be a routine procedure, but unfortunately, there were complications that would require additional medical attention. Little People Big World. Matt Roloff finds humor in everything. In Little People Big World Season 25 spoilers, Matt Roloff says that his guts are squished. He went in for what he thought was a routine endoscopy to check his esophagus back in May 2023. At the time, he said he had some unexpected twists and turns leading down to the stomach. Little People Big World watchers will get to see more of what went on behind the scenes with this situation. Through it all, Matt Roloff maintains a positive outlook, as well as a sense of humor about the whole thing. In scenes with Caryn Chandler, Matt Roloff jokes that there's too much Matt Roloff packed into his smaller frame. Naturally, Caryn Chandler agrees. Medical situations are scary no matter what, especially when unexpected complications arise. Matt Roloff may be going through it in Little People Big World scenes, but he is keeping a positive attitude, as well as his trademark sense of humor as he deals with this situation. Little People Big World's Zach Roloff forced to have dwarf talk with son Jackson. Little People Big World's Zach Roloff opens up to his wife Tori about having the dwarf talk with Jackson after he starts asking questions. In a preview clip for the next episode of Little People Big World, Zach Roloff reveals he had to have a very serious talk with his son Jackson. The Roloff family's reality show has been showcasing some health challenges in recent episodes. Little People Big World Season 25 covered Zach's emergency shunt surgery, and in the most recent episode, he had to take his daughter Lila to a sleep study, which determined that she has sleep apnea. Talk posted a preview of the next Little People Big World Season 25 episode on Instagram, which shows Zach opening up about a serious conversation he had to have with his son. As the clip opens, Zach and Tori are outside. With Tori roasting a marshmallow over the fire, Zach reveals that Jackson questioned why his friend wasn't allowed to participate in a DAA event. DAA stands for Dwarf Athletic Association of America. Zach had to explain the situation, which resulted in Jackson responding, "What? On a dwarf? What does that mean?" Both parents laugh over the innocence of Jackson's inquiry, with Zach adding, "I had to have the dwarf talk with my son way too early." Zach Roloff tries to remain calm while talking to Zach. The conversation with Zach seemed to be an eye-opening revelation for Jackson. When his son kept asking more questions, Zach explained to him, "That's how God made you." Back outside, Tori asks how Jackson felt about the situation, and Zach replies that he was fine with it. At one point, though, Jackson thought his father was making fun of him, saying, "I'm not a dwarf." This comes a few years after Jackson underwent leg surgery. Zach opens up in a confessional about having the dwarf talk with his son. He notes that he fully expected to have this discussion with Jackson at some point. He just didn't realize it would happen this soon, which is why he was still caught off guard. As the clip goes back to the outdoor scene with Zach and Tori, they both acknowledge that they need to remain calm and not make too big a deal of it when having these types of conversations with their children. Because they don't want to project their own worries onto their kids, it's understandable that Zach didn't think he'd have to deal with what he called the dwarf talk so early in Jackson's life. But it's good that he still thought about what would happen when that day came. Both Zach and Tori made some great observations about trying not to scare their kids over these serious topics. It sounds like Zach, coming at it from a calm and measured point of view, helped Jackson to understand the situation as best he could. It's understandable that Zach didn't think he'd have to deal with what he called the dwarf talk so early in Jackson's life. But it's good that he still thought about what would happen when that day came. Both Zach and Tori made some great observations about trying not to scare their kids over these serious topics. It sounds like Zach, coming at it from a calm and measured point of view, helped Jackson to understand the situation